Good morning, everyone. How are you all? I hope everyone is happy. God bless you and your family. In the previous section, we saw about changes around us. Physical changes. Physical changes, types of change which new substances not formed. For example, water boiling, melting. What is melting? Melting is the process of changing something from a solid into liquid. It is the opposite of freezing. The temperature at which something begins to melt, it's called a melting point. Next one, freezing is the phase transition where a liquid turn into a solid when its temperature is lowered below its freezing point. In accordance with the internationally established definition, freezing means the solidification phase change of a liquid or the liquid content of the substance, usually due to the cooling. Next one, vaporization. Conservation of the substances from the liquid or solid phases into gases phase. It contain allow the formation of vapor bubbles with the liquid. The vaporization process called boiling. Direct conservation from solid into vapor is called sublimation. Next one, what is condensation? Condensation is the process where the water vapor becomes liquid. It is the reverse of evaporation where liquid water becomes a vapor. Condensation happens one of two way. Either the air is cooled to its dew point or becomes saturated with water vapor that is cannot hold any more water. Next one, evaporation. Evaporation is the process by which water changes from a liquid to a gaseous or vapor. Evaporation is the primary pathway that water move from the liquid state back to into the water cycle as atmosphere water vapor. I welcome everyone back to my class. Today we are going to discuss about chemical changes. What are chemical changes? It's a brisk fall evening and you are huddled around the campfire with your friend and family for warmth. You hold a stick with a marshmallow on it into the edge of the fire, letting the marshmallow get brown and gooey. Your mom is roasting hot dog over the fire while your dad is opening and shaking hot and hands warmer for each of you to hold. On this perfect evening, chemical changes are happening all around you. A chemical change is any change that causes a new substances to be formed. For example, when the campfire has burned completely out, what is left behind? Ash. Ash is a new substances formed due to the burning of another substances, wood. This is a chemical change. The roasting of the marshmallow is also chemical change. Chemical property. There is a common property in all the chemical changes we discussed, not only as a new substances being created, but the change has created heat. There are several chemical properties that help you determine if a chemical change is taking place or not, and one of this heat, whether the substance is giving off or taking in the heat. Now move on, rusting of iron. While playing in your building compound, you might have come across an iron barbed wire which has turned red. You might have also seen some old metallic object at home. You would realize that this object have turned reddish unlike the original metallic color. This is what we call rusting of iron. Certain metallic object develop change on its surface, outer, behind, left stagnant for long or kept unused. This is cause for this to happen. This is corrosion consequently lead to gradual degradation of metals. Rusting one of the way of corrosion in metal. It happened to iron and alloy. Iron object consequently react with the oxygen in the air and get rusted in a humid environment. Rust is iron oxide. Next one, burning. Combustion or burning is a high temperature exothermic redox chemical reaction between a fuel and oxidant, usually atmospheric oxygen, that produce oxidized often gases produced in the mixer termed as smoke. Now move on. Fermentation. All living organisms get the energy required to perform cellular functions by respiration. In most of the animal, respiration occurs in the presence of oxygen. Some organisms like bacteria, yeast, etc. can produce energy in the absence of oxygen anaerobically. What is fermentation? Fermentation is an enzyme catalyzed metabolic process whereby organisms convert starch or sugar to alcohol or an acid anaerobically releasing energy. The science of the fermentation is called zymology. Process of fermentation. Fermentation is an anaerobic biochemical process. In fermentation, the first process the same as cellular respiration, which is the formation of pyruvic acid by glycolose per net to ATP, adenosine triphosphate molecule or synthesized. Advantage of fermentation. Fermentation is suitable for all kind of environment. It is one of the oldest metabolic process which is common to prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Fermentation widely used in various industries using suitable microorganism and specific condition different kind of product or formed, namely wine, beer, yogurt, pickles, bread, sour food containing lactic acid, certain antibiotics and vitamins. Ferment. Next, move on. Curdling of milk. Microbes play a vital role in preparing curd from milk. Curd contains a bacterium Lactobacillus. Lactobacillus is a friendly bacterium. It treated prevent diarrhea, help in food breakdown and absorption of nutrient. Following change lead to the formation of curd from milk. A small amount of curd is added to milk. Lactobacillus present in curd. Lactobacillus convert sugars in milk, lactose into lactic acid. Lactic acid impart sour taste to curd. Increased acidity causes milk protein into turn into solid masses. This is change the texture of curd. This topic explains the difference between endothermic and exothermic reaction. There are a number of chemical reaction in chemistry and they are divided into many sub and main reaction. Similarly is the case with the endothermic and exothermic reaction in chemistry. This release energy in the form of sound, light, cold or heat. In simple terms, the endothermic reaction absorb energy from the surroundings, that is the form of heat. On the other hand, exothermic reaction release energy into the surrounding of the system. Exothermic reaction. The exothermic reaction is the opposite of an endothermic reaction. It releases energy by heat light or heat to surrounding. A few example are neutralize, burning substance, reaction of fuels, deposition of dry ice, respiration, solution of sulfuric acid into water, and much more. Now move on. Endothermic reaction. What is an endothermic reaction? Endothermic reaction are the chemical reaction in which the reagent absorb heat energy from the surrounding to form product. This reaction lower the temperature of their surrounding area, thereby creating the cooling effect. Physical process can be endothermic as well. Ice cube absorb heat energy from their surroundings and melt into form liquid water. When a chemical bond is broken, it's usually combined by release energy. Similarly, the formation of chemical bond require an input energy. How are the endothermic and exothermic reaction different? The term endo and exo have the Greek root meaning within and out respective. As the name suggests, the primary difference between endothermic and exothermic reaction is that the former absorb heat from the surrounding, whereas the later involve release of heat. Now move on, periodic change. Periodic change or changes which occur periodically or at regular intervals of time. For example, seasons, day and night, changing phases of the moon, beating of heart, clock, string on hour are all example of periodic motion, whereas water becomes ice, burning of matchsticks, etc. or non-periodic motion. Second one, non-periodic motion. Changes which do not repeat themselves at a regular interval of time are called a non-periodic motion. You cannot predict when will they recur. For example, occurrence of earthquake, accidents, sneezings, rusting of iron, growing of a tree, etc. Today's science assignment, learn, question, answer. Thank you.